Stop. You are looking at the Amazon, all wrong. For centuries, the world thought it was an empty green expanse, too vast and too wild for civilization. We were wrong. Deep beneath the jungle is a lie. The forest isn't a wilderness, it's a continent-sized archive. Scholars preached it was a green desert, incapable of sustaining large populations. They said the soil was too poor. They said the cities were a myth. And then, beams of laser light LIDAR cut through the leaves. Artificial intelligence processed the echoes. Suddenly, the ground lit up with roads, canals, and platforms designed like intricate circuit. The Amazon was never empty. And in the next 15 seconds, an AI just unlocked the front page of a history the world forgot. The year was 2018. Archaeologist Dr. Jonas Gregorio de Souza launched the first AI-assisted LIDAR survey over the Upper Tapajós in Brazil. The initial data was a messy cloud of 1 billion data points. Meaningless noise, just random scatter. But when the AI was tasked with filtering the non-organic shapes, the patterns began to emerge. The circles were too precise. The long, straight lines were too deliberate. It was perfect geometry carved into the earth, just waiting for the right tool to reveal it. For a generation, scholars argued the Amazon was too wild for large cities. This was the moment that theory died. The soil itself, rich, fertile, terra preta, told another story. This was an engineered landscape, vast causeways, populations in the thousands. This breakthrough came from only a single, tiny patch of forest, a pilot project in one of the most remote places on Earth. But if you think finding a few lost villages was big, you need to see the evidence uncovered on the other side of the continent. An entire urban network, built into the floodplains, the size of a modern-day metropolis. In 2022, Professor Heiko Prumers led his team over Bolivia's Llanos de Mojos. This was the main event. AI didn't find villages, it found sprawling, engineered cities belonging to the Casarabe culture. Active between 500 and 1,400 CE. Platforms rose 20 meters high, built from millions of cubic feet of dirt. Grids of streets stretched outward at perfect 90-degree angles. Causeways, essentially ancient highways, extended for miles across floodplains, acting as both transport and flood protection. These weren't temporary camps. They were sophisticated, permanent urban centers. Science magazine called the discovery a new paradigm. The Amazon held civilizations as complex as early cities in Mesopotamia or Egypt. Europe built against the jungle with cold stone. The Casarabe built with the jungle using fertility, water, and plants as their primary building materials. They dug immense defensive ditches and engineered reservoirs, adapting their cities to the hyper-specific, challenging environment of the Amazon. They created a civilization designed to last forever, a living blueprint for survival. Yet, in the blink of an eye, around 1,400 CE, the lights went out. The jungle simply swallowed them. This begs the obvious question. If they were so advanced, if they were so integrated with nature, what could possibly have erased them so completely? This is the central mystery that haunted archaeologists for centuries. What caused the ultimate collapse? It wasn't a war. There is no evidence of a massive, destructive conflict. It wasn't a natural disaster that wiped out the entire culture. The answer is microbial. The 1500s. European explorers arrived, but what traveled ahead of them was the silent, invisible army. Smallpox, measles, influenza. Microbes, against which the native populations had zero immunity. Within decades, entire populations collapsed, up to 90% lost, cities emptied. The forest, relentless and fast-growing, took its chance. It grew back over the urban centers, concealing them in a green shroud. Spanish chroniclers wrote of vast, populous civilizations, fueling the myth of El Dorado. But when others searched a century later, nothing remained but forest. The silence convinced scholars the stories were pure fantasy. Only now, with AI peeling back the canopy, do we know the Spanish were telling fragments of the truth. The Spanish diseases erased the people, but the modern threats we face are equally dangerous. The chainsaws and bulldozers of today are erasing the very memory that these people ever existed before we even have a chance to study it. Here is the cruel, immediate irony, the turning point in the timeline. It took 5 centuries for the forest to cover and protect these cities, sealing them in an organic tomb. But it's taking us less than half a lifetime to destroy them again. Logging, illegal mining, and massive industrial expansion spread daily across the Amazon. The ghost roads identified by AI point deeper into untouched forest, directly toward undiscovered cities that could rewrite history again. But they also lead straight into zones of conflict. The Tapajos region, where the first sites were found, is a major front for illegal gold mining and ranching expansion. The Casarabe's living architecture endured storms and floods for centuries, but a single bulldozer can wipe away an entire ceremonial platform in a matter of hours. Researchers are now in a frantic race against time. They know where the AI says the roads lead, but access is limited, funding is scarce, and the deforestation is non-stop. And those ghost roads don't just end in the past, they vanish into forests we may never see again. The real question is, what are we losing right now that AI has already found, but we haven't reached? AI scans reveal roads that suddenly just stop, swallowed by walls of trees. These threads point to a vast, interconnected civilization, a network larger than any previously imagined. This is the Amazon's warning written in its own soil. The Casarabe built with earth and plants. They disappeared. We build with steel and concrete, pushing the environment to its breaking point. The Casarabe cities are not only history, they are a prophecy. Civilizations don't always collapse with explosions or sudden violence. Sometimes they just fade, silently, until all that remains is geometry hidden under leaves, waiting for a future technology to find them. The forest remembered them. The AI has done its job as the reader of this forgotten archive. Final reflection? Are we the generation that used the most advanced technology on Earth to find a lost civilization, only to allow its modern destruction to continue? The AI showed us the truth. The moral choice and the fight is entirely up to us. Every scan, every data point, is now part of something larger, a digital resurrection of a civilization once thought erased. AI isn't just finding ruins, it's restoring memory. Deep learning models are now training on ancient geometry to predict where undiscovered sites might be hidden, guiding archaeologists before bulldozers arrive. Acoustic AIs are listening across the rainforest, detecting illegal chainsaws and logging alerts to satellites in real time. The same algorithms that map galaxies, yes, galaxies, are now mapping lost worlds beneath trees. But here's the real twist. These discoveries are forcing humanity to confront its reflection. The Amazon's hidden cities weren't built against nature, they were built with it. If AI's final gift is showing us that progress and preservation can go along without harming each other, then maybe the forest hasn't been silent all this time. It's been waiting too long for us to finally listen. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Next time meeting you, in a week. And finally, do comment. Your opinion is extremely important for nature.